The Indiana Fever just survived one of the wildest, ugliest, and most controversial games of the WNBA season. Inside Crypto.com arena, the final seconds of their clash with the Los Angeles Sparks stretched into chaos, testing patience, trust, and even the credibility of the league itself. Somehow, despite questionable officiating that gave LA multiple lifelines, Indiana walked away with a 76-75 victory that may prove to be their grittiest win of the year. But this wasn't just about one point in the standings. It was about resilience, leadership, and how a battered Fever roster refused to fold when everything seemed stacked against them. For 3 straight possessions, the clock seemed to bend in LA's favor. The Sparks, trailing by a single point, were gifted extra inbound opportunities that had fans in disbelief. Contact was ignored on one end, called on the other, and even when Indiana forced turnovers, LA somehow found themselves right back with the ball. With 0.4 seconds left, Kelsey Mitchell had a chance to seal the win at the free throw line. She missed both. Instead of letting the last tenth of a second tick away, officials inexplicably gave the Sparks another chance, with 0.1 still showing. One blink. That's what Los Angeles was handed to steal a game they hadn't earned, and that's when the boiling frustration spilled over. Caitlin Clark, still sidelined with injury, sat courtside in street clothes but didn't stay silent. Cameras caught her visibly stunned by the officiating, shaking her head and voicing what everyone else was thinking. This wasn't just bad refereeing, it felt like sabotage. Sydney Colson, also out injured, joined the chorus, calling out the league's inconsistency and pointing to how Mitchell never gets the whistles she deserves. The fans agreed. Social media exploded, accusing the league of incompetence at best and corruption at worst. Clips of the Phantom 0.1 inbound spread like wildfire, and once again the WNBA's officiating became the story instead of the players. But here's the thing. Despite the chaos, the Fever didn't crumble. They locked in. They trusted each other. And they proved they could win ugly. The hero of the night was Odyssey Sims, the veteran guard who has bounced around the league but found her moment to shine in Indiana. Sims poured in 21 points, including the final 5 that iced the game, silencing her former team in the process. Every time the Sparks threatened to steal momentum, Sims answered. A layup here, a floater there. Calm, steadying buckets that gave Indiana just enough breathing room to withstand the officiating storm. Alongside her, Aaliyah Boston did what franchise players do. She controlled the paint, altering shots, crashing the glass, and keeping the Sparks' bigs uncomfortable. Her box score numbers told one story, but her presence told another. Without Boston, LA's repeated extra chances would have ended differently. And then there was Lexi Hull, playing heavy minutes with 2 black eyes, a walking symbol of grit. Diving for loose balls, spacing the floor, bringing energy, Hull embodied exactly why this Fever team has become so dangerous. Even when shorthanded, they simply refused to back down. The irony of this game is that Clark, the face of the WNBA, didn't even play, and yet she dominated the headlines afterward. Her raw reaction to the officiating amplified what players and fans have been screaming all season. The refs aren't good enough. And when Clark says it, it sticks. Her words echo across sports shows, Twitter feeds, and highlight reels. What could have been dismissed as another late-game mess suddenly became a national talking point about accountability, fairness, and whether the league is failing its players. That spotlight is something no one else in the WNBA can generate, and it's why Clark's presence is more powerful than ever, even in street clothes. Yet this wasn't just a story of chaos. It was also a story of survival. Indiana came into the night missing Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and Aari McDonald. 4 key rotation players. By all logic, this should have been LA's chance to pounce, to bury the Fever's playoff hopes and climb the standings. Instead, it became proof of depth, toughness, and a refusal to fold. Sims stepped up. Boston anchored. Hull played through pain. Mitchell shouldered pressure, even with mistakes. And Stephanie White coached a masterclass in resilience, piecing together lineups that outfought the Sparks possession by possession. Now add the looming return of Clark to the mix. She's already back at practice, moving through drills, joining shoot-arounds, and slowly building toward her comeback. No official date has been set, but fans saw her warming up in LA, dropping jumpers and looking sharp. That isn't a publicity stunt. That's progress. And once Clark rejoins this hardened, battle-tested Fever team, everything changes. Suddenly, this isn't a group just trying to survive. It's a playoff team with real bite. a team no one will want to see in a first-round matchup. The Fever's victory over the Sparks wasn't clean. It wasn't pretty. And it certainly wasn't easy. But it was a statement. A statement that they can take the worst circumstances, bad whistles, missing stars, hostile arenas, and still walk out with the win. That's the kind of identity that builds playoff runs. And if the officiating chaos was meant to break them, it backfired. It only made Indiana tougher, so now the question lingers. Is the WNBA being held back by its officials? Players deserve better. Fans deserve better. And if the league doesn't fix it soon, nights like this will keep stealing headlines for all the wrong reasons. Still, what Indiana proved in LA is that they don't need perfect conditions to win. They just need belief. And Raider Nation, oh wait, no, Fever Nation, this is where you come in. What did you think of that ending? Were the refs out of line or are fans overreacting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss the breakdowns. Indiana just showed the league they won't be pushed around. And with Caitlin Clark on the horizon, the Fever might be the team nobody wants to face come playoff time.